Marcus was a workaholic, reluctant to come home before working until the early hours of the morning. When I was 7 months pregnant, Henry and Eleanor gave him an ultimatum. Come home promptly at 8 every evening to be with me. Marcus had no choice but to comply, however. 3 days later, he drastically converted the mansion into an employee dormitory under the guise of balancing work and life, while also making his employees feel at home. When he emerged from the employee dormitory again after pulling an all-nighter to revise the proposal, I saw how energized he looked and immediately brought up divorce. During an executive video conference for the company, my demand interrupted Marcus's speech. Henry's voice came through the computer. What are you unhappy about now? Eleanor was even more direct, starting to scold. Grace, don't be so headstrong. If you don't want to take over the company, fine, but now Marcus is helping you out, and you're still throwing a tantrum. I stood defiantly in front of the computer, my pregnant belly prominent. Marcus ended the meeting, his eyes bloodshot, then turned to me and asked angrily, Grace, are you divorcing me just because I let employees live at home? I glanced at the so-called employee dormitory and replied emotionlessly, since you love your employees so much, get out with them. Sign the divorce agreement and move out of the house today. After saying that, I turned to go back to my room to catch up on sleep, but Marcus grabbed me. Grace, what do you mean? He gripped my wrist tightly, so forcefully that the baby fiercely kicked a few times in my belly. It's bad enough you won't let my mom take care of you, but now I'm letting employees stay at home for a few days for work, and that's not allowed either. What's with the high and mighty act? His accusations made me tremble all over. Just then, a male voice from the dining room cut in, Ms. Grace. It was Alex, the programmer, usually the most diligent at bowing and scraping in front of Marcus. He stood up, holding his water glass, a forced look of reluctance on his face. Please calm down, Ms. Grace. The manager truly has good intentions. He saw that renting in Silverwood was too expensive for us, so he let us stay temporarily. If you keep making a scene like this, it puts him in a difficult position, and it will strain relationships. Exactly. Chloe, Marcus's female assistant, immediately echoed, her voice softly spoken. This is a critical project phase. Everyone wishes they could live at the office. Mr. Chen is also thinking about efficiency and the bigger picture. Ms. Grace, you're pregnant, and moods can be volatile, but you should also understand the general's hard work and difficulties. As she spoke, she pointedly glanced at my swollen belly, as if implying I was making a scene. It's only for a few months. Ms. Grace, you should be a bit more accommodating. Tom, the secretary, chimed in. 3 young faces, dressed in pajamas and slippers, gathered around under the bright chandelier in a space that should have belonged only to Marcus and me. They acted as if they owned the mansion, chattering away, trying to persuade me like a group of guests who had suddenly found their voice. I had been listening to these pleas for a whole month. I shook off Marcus's hand and pointed at the 3 employees in their pajamas, who were acting as if they owned the mansion. My voice was soft, yet carried power. Not just Marcus, but all 3 of you. My gaze swept over Alex, Chloe, and Tom. You're all fired. Now, pack your bags immediately. Get out of my house, and get out of Vance. The dining room instantly fell silent. Marcus strode over to the coffee table. He grabbed the divorce agreement I had already prepared, skimmed over the key clauses, and his face instantly darkened. Leave empty-handed? He sharply looked up, his eyes blazing with fury. Grace, are you crazy? He forcefully ripped the agreement to shreds. I've worked so hard for years at Vance, rising from the bottom to general, by my own merit. Now, because of this small matter, you want to kick me out? Dream on. As I watched his outburst, the anger in my heart strangely settled. My voice was exceptionally calm, even with a hint of sarcasm. Merit. Marcus, you've got something wrong. I bought the mansion outright. Vance is my family's company. What's wrong with me taking back my own things and firing a few employees who rubbed me the wrong way? You. Marcus was stunned by the facts I presented, and his face turned ashen. He took a deep breath, forced a fawning smile, and reached out to me. His voice softened. Wife, I was wrong. I'm a scoundrel. I promise to put you and the baby first from now on. Don't say words spoken in anger, okay? He tried to approach. You haven't eaten anything this morning, have you? I made your favorite pork rib soup. Let's go have some and calm down. That deliberately humble posture filled me with deep disgust. Don't come any closer. I sharply commanded him to stop, then grabbed the celadon vase nearby and smashed it at his feet. The scattering ceramic shards forced Marcus to stumble back a step. A flicker of murderous intent in his eyes flashed and was gone so quickly that one might have thought but it was immediately replaced by a look of hurt. Wife, calm down. His voice trembling, he said, don't hurt yourself or the baby. I'll find Alex and them new housing right away. They'll move out today. I promise they'll never work from home again. I'll agree to anything you want. Just please don't be like this. Hey I snorted with laughter, cutting short his insincere performance. Marcus, are you really unable to understand reason? Or do you think Grace, am a fool? I said, take your good employees and get out of Vance. Vance doesn't need talent like yours, Ms. Grace. No. Alex, the programmer, seemed to have his psychological defenses crumbled by the words get out. He lunged forward, falling directly to his knees before me on the floor. Ignoring the vase fragments, tears streaming down his face, his voice piteous, Ms. Grace, please grant me a chance. I know I was wrong. I'll pack my bags and get out right now. I'd sleep under a bridge if I had to tonight. Just please don't fire me. I still have a mortgage at home. My wife just had a baby. I can't lose this job. Please. He knocked his head repeatedly, and his forehead quickly turned red. Chloe and Tom also had faces pale, wanting to speak, but couldn't utter a single word under my gaze. Watching's groveling performance, I felt not a ripple of emotion, only deeper disgust. I had had enough of this emotional blackmail. That's your problem. My voice was devoid of warmth. My notice has been given. Now, immediately, all of you, get out. With that, I ignored the several people with various expressions and went upstairs, my heavy belly in tow. I was sleeping soundly when the urgent phone call buzzed in my ear. Frowning, I picked up my phone. Eleanor flashed on the screen. As soon as I answered, my mother's stern voice came crashing down on me. Grace, who gave you permission to flaunt your title as the heiress of Vance out in public? The internet is flooded with criticisms of you. Do you know that because of the scene you made this morning, the company is in a state of unease, and the project team is almost stalled? If Enterprise's stock price drops even a point because of you, I'll fly to Silverwood and skin you alive. My heart sank suddenly, and the last vestiges of sleep instantly vanished. I sat up, propping myself, and opened the social media app on my phone. On the trending topics list, a glaring keyword stood prominently at third place. Vance heiress fires employees while pregnant, forces them to kneel. Pinned was a short video clip with an astounding number of likes and shares. In the video, my voice was sounding condescending. Get out of my house. Get out of Vance. The most impactful part was the scene of Alex lunging, kneeling, and bowing. The red mark on his forehead and his miserable, tear-streaked face were captured crystal clear. Especially my unsparing line, that's your problem. This directly led netizens to attack en masse, and public opinion was overwhelmingly one-sided. My knuckles were white from gripping the phone. This heavily edited video, coupled with the uncontrollable trending topic, definitely cost a fortune. Who was behind this? Marcus? Chloe? Or was it Alex playing the victim? My phone vibrated again, and a contact name flashed. Marcus? I looked at the contact name, a sneer twisting my lips. Wife, whatever you do, don't go online. Alex impulsively uploaded the morning's video online. I'm going to make him clarify the facts right now. I calmly responded. I'm coming to the company. Marcus was stunned by my calm response and paused for a moment before continuing. The company is a bit chaotic right now. Grace, you really shouldn't come. It wouldn't be good if some reckless person bumped into the baby. Hey who dares touch me on my own turf? The company HQ lobby was packed with media who rushed there upon hearing the news. The moment I appeared, I was surrounded on all sides. Ms. Lin, is the video online real? Will your actions affect Vance stock? Mr. Chen has never had any scandal. Legally, it's impossible for him to leave empty-handed. My 8-month pregnant belly made me feel a bit out of breath in the crowd. Can you make some space? It's too stuffy. I feel like throwing up. Most people, seeing my distressed look as I covered my mouth, moved back a bit, but there were clearly a few with malicious intent. Ms. Grace is so delicate. Why didn't she have bodyguards carry her out? Is Lin feeling guilty? Not daring to answer a single question. Their incendiary words made the crowd begin to push again. Thankfully, Daniel, the lawyer, arrived just in time and led the suffocating me into the building. As soon as we entered the office area, the lively atmosphere instantly quieted down. Chloe saw me and tears streamed down her face. Like pear blossoms after rain. Ms. Grace, please don't fire me. I joined Vance right after graduation. For the sake of my career, I've had 3 miscarriages. Now, I finally managed to get to the point of a promotion. I won't leave. Chloe's mention of the difficulties women face in the workplace instantly resonated with the female employees. Ms. Liu, to my knowledge, you are not married, nor do you have a boyfriend. Having 3 miscarriages only suggests a promiscuous lifestyle. Daniel, the lawyer, fixed Chloe with a piercing gaze. His words successfully quieted the angry female employees. Chloe's crying stopped abruptly, and Marcus quickly changed the subject. Who are you? Why are you so close to my wife? With that, he looked at me, his eyes bloodshot. Grace, tell me, what exactly is the reason you're so eager to divorce me when you're 8 months pregnant and about to give birth? He deliberately paused, letting the words 8 months and eager strike a heavy blow to everyone's hearts. Then, he dropped a bombshell. Could it be? Could it be that you're humiliated and enraged just because I made your friends move out? Or is it that the child in your belly isn't mine at all? The entire office area exploded into chaos. Oh my God, what did Mr. Chen say? The child isn't his? No wonder. No wonder Ms. Grace is so eager for Mr. Chen to leave empty-handed. And blaming employees for living at home. That's outrageous. Quick, check online. There's a new trending topic. Someone yelled, and everyone took out their phones. Daniel, looking displeased, handed me the phone. A video of me from years ago at a nightclub suddenly appeared online. In the video, I had heavy makeup and provocative clothing, although there was no actual inappropriate behavior, given Marcus's earlier suspicions. These old photos were maliciously interpreted as solid proof of a promiscuous lifestyle. The employees' gazes at me were filled with contempt. Mr. Marcus, please watch your words. I am the lawyer handling your divorce case. Daniel had been interrupted, and now revealing his identity couldn't salvage the situation. Who knows if he's a lawyer or a lover? Rich people sure know how to have fun. Mr. Chen is so pitiful, conscientiously working hard for Vance, and the child might not even be his. What's all this shouting about during working hours? Henry's sudden angry rebuke instantly silenced the chaotic office area. Grace, causing a scene at home isn't enough. Now you've come to the company to cause trouble. Apologize to Marcus immediately, and retract your ridiculous divorce agreement and dismissal decision. Marcus stood behind my father, with just the right amount of suppressed emotion on his face. He stepped forward, his voice hoarse. Dad, please don't ruin your health. Grace might just be emotionally unstable during pregnancy, misled by others. I believe her, and I believe the child is mine. He turned to me, his sincerity so nauseating it was sickening. Grace, why don't we go home? Everything will pass. I will always be your husband. The suffocating feeling returned, but I forced myself to stand straighter. This divorce, I'm definitely getting it. Since some people want a ruined reputation, I'll grant your wish. I ignored my father's pressuring gaze, calmly swept my eyes over the employees holding up their phones, and finally settled on Daniel, the lawyer. Daniel nodded slightly, stepped forward, his voice firm and resonant. Mr. Marcus, please stop your baseless slander and personal attacks against my client, Ms. Grace. Regarding the online rumors, we have already collected evidence. If you do not agree to sign the divorce agreement, we will initiate legal proceedings. Marcus's expression subtly changed, and he said sharply, this is our family matter. It's not for an outsider like you to meddle in. Security guards, kick him out. Who dares to move? A dignified, aged voice rang out. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice, to see the rarely seen veteran board members of Vance entering, surrounded by a stern-faced elderly man. The one who spoke was none other than the esteemed elder. Vance is a publicly traded company. Ms. Grace's reputation concerns the company's reputation and the interests of all shareholders. This matter must be clarified in front of everyone today. Henry had clearly not anticipated these individuals appearing suddenly. His demeanor immediately weakened a bit. Elder, esteemed directors. This is a family scandal, family scandal? Elder snorted coldly, his sharp gaze sweeping over Marcus. I'm afraid someone has been scheming, intending to use this family scandal as a knife to stab at the very foundation of Vance. He looked at Daniel. Mr. Daniel, please continue. Beads of sweat appeared on Marcus's forehead. Daniel, without further ado, signaled his assistant to connect the projector. On the large screen, the first thing played was the complete, time-stamped surveillance footage from the mansion's living room. The picture was clear. This morning, Alex had knelt directly before me at Marcus's subtle signal. Next, it was Chloe's incendiary remarks. Ms. Grace, you're pregnant and moods can be volatile. but you should also understand Mr. Chen's hard work and difficulties." As she spoke, she provocatively revealed a suggestive red mark on her neck, and the moment she lowered her head, she revealed the deep cleavage of her chest. Tom, who was serving as a background prop nearby, his eyes were visibly fixated until he hastily withdrew his gaze after a warning look from Marcus. Anyone could see the glances exchanged between Marcus and Chloe, so intimate they were practically pulling threads. Only I, in the video, looked like a fool kept in the dark. The office erupted in an uproar. Public opinion instantly shifted. "It feels like bullying. Ms. Grace is clearly the isolated one. Chloe usually seemed quite conservative. I never expected her to dress like that at her boss's home. Ms. Grace has too good a temper to tolerate such a manipulative woman for a whole month." The online video was clearly heavily edited. Alex, being sycophantic, kept telling Ms. Grace to back down. He played the emotional blackmail card perfectly. It made me furious. Chloe's face flushed crimson, and she pointed at me angrily. "What era are we in? I have the right to dress as I please. And Grace, by disclosing my private photos, how can I face anyone after this?" I didn't even need to speak. A female employee closest to her snorted with laughter. "You dare to dress like that in front of the general? So what's wrong with us seeing it? Or are you saying you only want to dress like that for the general?" Marcus glanced at her father-in-law, whose face had fallen, and quickly tried to prove his innocence. "Wife, don't mislead everyone. No matter where I work, Tom is always with me. Chloe and I are completely innocent. Everyone can vouch for me. Even now, won't you just admit everything?" I snorted coldly, loudly questioning him. This man, who had taken so many years of my youth, now in his 30s, was still handsome and distinguished, but rotten to the core. "We've been together for so many years. You don't trust me." Marcus looked desperate enough to swear an oath. "No need to deny it so quickly. This is just the beginning." Daniel coldly interrupted his performance. The projector quickly played a video that took place at a hospital. Chloe's name scrolled on the OB-GYN's call screen, and then Chloe and a man who strongly resembled Marcus entered the consultation room. When the video appeared, everyone was stunned. "Marcus, explain. What is this all about?" Henry's breathing quickened slightly as he asked Marcus through gritted teeth. He didn't choose to believe my evidence immediately but instead gave Marcus a chance to explain. Thinking of this, my heart still twinged with pain. My parents' favoritism towards Marcus in recent years was obvious to all, and I, their daughter who offered no help to the company, had instead become their object of criticism. Their repeated betrayals had fueled Marcus's arrogance. If the facts were revealed and my parents still wanted me to endure silently, then I wouldn't want this family anymore either. With this thought, I put away my sadness. That's not me. Dad, I haven't had a break in years. I didn't even have time for a honeymoon after marrying Grace. How could I accompany an assistant to get an abortion? People easily reveal a flaw when they're desperate, and Marcus was no exception. Mr. Chen is right. This video doesn't have a clear shot of the face, so it can't be definite evidence. Before the other party could breathe a sigh of relief, Daniel asked a fatal question. "But why is Mr. Chen so certain that Chloe was there to get an abortion? Didn't Chloe just say so? She's had 3 miscarriages. What else would she be doing there if not getting an abortion?" "Chloe, you tell them, were you having multiple affairs?" Marcus's casual remark brought tears streaming down Chloe's face. Full of grievance, she made eye contact with the man for 2 seconds, then, as if making some kind of decision, shouted in a high-pitched voice, "This is my private matter. You have no right to interfere. If you disclose my privacy again, I'll call the police." Daniel pushed up his glasses, ignoring her attempt to throw a fit, and proceeded to play the next set of photos. These were abortion records from several hospitals. The signatories on the first 2 were Chloe herself, but on an abortion consent form from 7 years ago, the signatory's name was none other than Marcus. Oh my God, 7 years ago. The manager was already with Ms. Grace back then, right? Mr. Chen is actually this kind of person. No wonder Chloe, despite her low education, could be placed to work directly with the general as soon as she joined the company. It turns out they're adulterers. Everyone chattered and gossiped, making Marcus's face turn pale. He could only admit a piece of information. "No, Chloe and I are innocent. I signed for her because we're from the same hometown. I was afraid of unnecessary misunderstandings, so I never mentioned it before. Wife, believe me, Chloe is just a neighbor's younger sister. Dad, believe me, you showed me such kindness as a mentor. I would never betray Grace." Marcus saw that I was unmoved, then turned to my father, playing the victim. Seeing that my father was about to intercede for him again, I signaled Daniel to continue to present evidence. The video quickly switched to the so-called employee dormitory. Marcus and Chloe, these two protagonists, were kissing passionately in the office area, unable to control themselves, while Tom and Alex were diligently working nearby, fully focused, clearly accustomed to this scene. Oh my God. Marcus mentioned in a meeting that everyone could sign up for employee dormitory. I failed to apply then, thinking I wasn't poor enough. Turns out I wasn't subservient enough. I signed up too back then. Good thing I wasn't chosen, having to see this unsightly scene every day. I'd rather not save this bit of money. Cheating couple. And that Alex and Tom. They're all degenerates of Vance. Insults erupted from all sides. As everyone can see, Mr. Marcus, under the guise of work, converted half of the mansion's first floor into an employee dormitory every evening. Using the excuse of discussing proposals, he would assign work to 2 male employees, while he secretly met Chloe for their affair. Daniel vividly narrated the video. Marcus had not expected that I had also installed cameras in this area, with such irrefutable evidence. He had no room for further denial and suddenly knelt before me. Wife, I was wrong. I lost my mind recently. Please forgive me. I will never do it again. For the sake of the baby who is about to be born, please forgive me this one time. Seeing that I was unmoved, Marcus turned and began to beg my father. Dad, I just made a mistake that all men make. These past years I accompanied you to business dinners, always helping you. Before could finish, my father kicked him to the ground. He gave an embarrassed glance to Elder and the others, then began to reprimand Marcus. I was blind to marry my daughter to you, an animal. You're so impatient. Grace is about to give birth, and you're still bringing other women right in front of her. Thankfully is okay, otherwise I would kill you. With that, my father came to my side and said faintly, Grace, now that the evidence is conclusive, what do you want to do? You're close to giving birth. What about the child later? What to do? Of course, to ruin his reputation. Go to where he belongs. Eleanor swept in through the door with several major media personnel. Henry, I don't care how many other women you have out there. My daughter will not suffer this indignity. With that, my mother, with her poker face, stood firmly by my side. Grace, I misunderstood you this time. You didn't do anything wrong. My mother's validation instantly brought tears to my eyes. I thought my father, who always indulged me, was just going through the motions without true sincerity, while my mother, who always criticized and denied me, unexpectedly chose me at the critical moment. Wife, why did you bring the media here? This doesn't need to be such a big scene, does it? My father's face looked troubled. Already, my making the divorce public knowledge had had a negative impact. Now, being exposed by major platforms, it was truly making Vance the center of public attention. Shut up. We'll settle our score later. Daniel, please continue to present evidence. A glance from my mother instantly silenced my father. Esteemed directors, media personnel, my client, Ms. Grace, is publicly reporting Mr. Marcus for embezzlement. Daniel's words not only shocked the employees present, but even the old guys on the board, who were just watching the show, couldn't sit still. This was related to their own interests, and everyone's gaze was concentrated on the projector. The screen switched. It displayed a series of bank statements and about 10 property deeds. The statements showed that over the past 3 years, Marcus, abusing his authority as general, had repeatedly transferred project contingency funds to a private account, with the accumulated amount reaching billions. The account holder of that private account was none other than Chloe. The property deeds showed that Chloe had gradually purchased various properties outright in the downtown area of Silverwood in recent years. The payer was precisely that private account which received the project contingency funds. Impossible. This is forged. I have never embezzled public funds. Marcus yelled, his face pale as paper. He lunged and pointed at Chloe. It's her. It must be her who forged it. She wants to frame me. Chloe was already terrified. Her face lost all color, trembling all over. Faced with Marcus's accusation and the probing gazes around her, her psychological defenses completely collapsed. She never expected Marcus to abandon her the moment something went wrong. No, it wasn't me. It was Mr. Chen. It was Marcus. Chloe screamed. To protect herself, she couldn't care about anything else. He made me falsify accounts. He embezzled project funds to buy me properties. He said that once he kicked you, Grace, out, and got the Vance family's assets, he would divorce and marry me. Those transfer records and contracts are all real, and the video, the morning video. He also hinted at Alex to edit and upload it. He said he would ruin your reputation and make your father completely lose hope in you, bitch. Shut up. Marcus was enraged and raised his hand to strike Chloe, but was held back firmly by a male employee nearby, a jaw-dropping reversal. The entire office area fell into dead silence, leaving only Chloe's broken sobs and accusations and the commentary from employees secretly live streaming. Public opinion completely exploded online, and the tide of public opinion turned 180 degrees. My father staggered a step, looking in disbelief at the man before him whom he had personally promoted and cared for more than his own daughter. Then looked at the irrefutable bank statements and contracts on the screen. He angrily knocked Marcus to the ground. Daniel spoke up at the opportune moment. His voice resonated throughout the hall, based on Mr. Marcus's marital infidelity, embezzling huge company funds to buy property for a third party, maliciously editing videos to defame and slander Ms. Grace, and a series of grave actions that severely infringed upon his client's physical, mental, and property rights. On behalf of Ms. Grace, I reiterate, Mr. Marcus must sign the divorce agreement. To leave empty-handed is his just deserts. At the same time, Mr. Marcus and Ms. Chloe, as individuals involved in the case, will definitely be handed over to the police for legal processing afterwards. No, you can't do this. Marcus completely panicked. He lunged towards Henry, like clutching at a last straw. Dad? Mom, please let me explain. I was seduced by that bitch Chloe. The money, I just borrowed it temporarily. I'll pay it back. Grace, wife, I know I was wrong. Think of the child. Child? I interrupted him, my voice cold, filled with sarcasm. Marcus, you still have the nerve to mention the child? You slept in your employee dormitory every day, hugging your good assistant, plotting how to get rid of me. I'm lucky to be alive today. If it weren't for the advanced stage of my pregnancy, this child wouldn't even have had a chance to be born. You should be glad I found out late enough. I straightened my back, ignoring his desperate gaze, my eyes sweeping over the media personnel holding their equipment, finally resting on the directors, my tone resolute and unequivocal. Elder esteemed directors, I am deeply saddened by such serious corrupt elements and moral decay appearing within Vance. As the daughter of the largest shareholder, I propose to immediately convene an emergency board meeting to thoroughly investigate all projects Marcus managed, recover the embezzled funds, and re-evaluate the company's management structure. I, Grace, will officially rejoin Vance starting today. Good. Elder was the first to agree loudly, and the other directors also nodded in agreement. My mother's gaze at me was filled with relief and satisfaction. My father finally recovered from the massive shock. He looked at the calm and composed me, exuding confidence, then contrasted me with the pathetic son-in-law beside him. Immense regret welled up in his heart. He opened his mouth, tears streaming down his aged face. Grace, your father is sorry. I've grown foolish in my old age, even faced with irrefutable evidence. Marcus still refused to sign the divorce agreement. He had put in too much effort for all this today. He was just one step away from success. How could he give up now? He crawled towards me on his knees, cursing Chloe with the most venomous words he had ever uttered, blaming all the responsibility on her. It wasn't me, wife, it was Chloe who seduced me. She forged the signature, embezzled public funds. I was just deceived by her. I'm innocent. We've been together for so many years, and now our child is about to be born. I still owe you a round-the-world honeymoon, wife. We still have countless beautiful futures, Marcus. You owe me too much. But unfortunately, I don't want you anymore. My sarcastic words had just left my mouth when Chloe suddenly lunged from the side, violently shoving me to the ground. Marcus, you're not human. I've been with you since I was 18. I've had 3 abortions for you, acted as your hidden mistress. And you said you'd compensate me. Just last night you were lying next to me, saying you'd mess with Grace when she gave birth, preferably kill her. Ha ha ha. Now you want to blame all the responsibility on me. Dream on. If you ruin me, you won't get off easy either. Chloe, like a madwoman, pulled out a knife from somewhere. After shoving me to the ground, she plunged it deeply into Marcus's chest. I felt a violent, unbearable contraction suddenly seize me. I let out a stifled groan, and my body involuntarily arched. My hand instinctively clutched my belly. Grace, Henry and Eleanor exclaimed in alarm. Ms. Lynn. Daniel and his assistant immediately rushed forward to support me. The scene instantly erupted into chaos. Chloe was held down firmly by male employees, and the knife in her hand was kicked away. Marcus collapsed on the ground, bleeding profusely. He tried to crawl towards me, but each time he tried to get up, he was pushed back down, in agonizing pain. I gritted my teeth. Make him sign the divorce agreement. Even if he dies, he has to sign the divorce papers first. The words had just left my mouth when a warm liquid trickled down my thigh. My water broke. Call an ambulance. Quick. My father's frantic shouts and the greater commotion on the scene became the final sounds before I plunged into darkness. Because of Chloe, I gave birth prematurely to a daughter. The baby was placed in an incubator immediately after birth. Luckily, what I lacked least was money. Marcus thought he was dying and finally signed the divorce agreement. Unfortunately, he was rescued in time, but the moment he was revived, he immediately regretted it. However, the agreement had already taken effect, and all that awaited him was legal punishment. Chloe was arrested by the police for attempted murder. They turned on each other and confessed to all the illegal activities they had committed over the years. On the day of Chloe and Marcus's sentencing, thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comment section.